Hello everyone. Welcome to Interactions and Impressions, English for Online Classes, a faculty development program organized by the Department of English, Girideepam Institute of Advanced Learning, Kottayam. School might look different during the pandemic, but you can still make lessons fun and creative when you are distance learning. Language learning games for classrooms is one of the best ways to promote language learning. They get us involved with the target language through social interaction more than doing homework or memorizing things. Games help us refine every single one of our skills: pronunciation, spelling, grammar, syntax, listening and written comprehension, oral and written production, among many other things. These games and activities are excellent ways to create a sense of community within a virtual class and make the students attentive. They can also help teachers build relationships with students and give them a break so that they can relax and retain more of their learning. There are quite a number of games that you can incorporate into your online class. These include drawing activities, exercises with worksheets, word games, and many more. We look at two popular word games to begin with. Alphabet Chain. This game helps students in expanding their vocabulary. How to play. The teacher can start by giving a word. The first student should say another word starting with the last letter of the word the teacher had said. For example, if the teacher said nest, the first student should say a word starting with the letter T, which is the last letter of nest, and hence train. The next student should continue with another word starting with N, that is the last letter of train, and say, for example, nap, and this goes on. Thus, every proposed word needs to start with the last letter of the previous word, and a third word should not be repeated. If a student is unable to think of another word, then they are out. The last student standing wins. Words within a word. It is another interesting word game which helps kids in creating words on their own and at the same time help them in improving their spelling skills. How to play. The teacher should choose a long word with at least 7 to 10 letters. The longer, the better. The kids then have to try and make a list of small words out of the letters of the long word. For example, if the long word is computer, we can make words like put, cot, term, core, mop, top, pet, etc. from the word. The student who finds the maximum number of words wins. Another example is the word teacher, from which we can make words like tea, teach, car, eight, arch, rat, cat, eat, etc. Story Chain. Story Chain is another interesting game which helps children build their imagination and narrative skills. How to play. The students have to build a story one sentence at a time. The teacher begins by giving the opening line. Each student adds another line to the story. The rules are that the next line has to make sense. It can be silly or outrageous, but should make sense. For example, you would not say, "We all went swimming, my truck was making a weird noise." However, it would be fine if one person said, "We all went swimming." Then the next student said, "We went in our truck, and since my truck was making a weird noise, I did not want to drive." When the class is finished creating the story, you could appreciate the students for their aesthetic skills. 5-second rule. These games help children in improving their thinking skills. How to play. The teacher should give 5 seconds to each student to name 3 things that get into a category. For example, name 3 countries, or name 3 flowers, or even name 3 insects. If the student answers in 5 seconds, he wins a point. This is a very fun game to keep the students attentive. Complete the figure. This is another wonderful game that helps students to nurture their creativity and improve their imagination skills. How to play. The students are given certain shapes or diagrams and they are asked to complete it into anything they like. For example, geometric shapes like a circle, triangle, or any other images like a cloud can be given. The students are then given 5 minutes to complete the drawing, and once they finish, the best picture wins. 10 questions. 10 questions is an improvised version of the age-old name, place, animal, thing game. How to play. Choose a student to lead the game. The student leader will then think of any noun. He'll tell the class if he is thinking of a person, place, or thing. No one else will know the item except the leader. Students can ask up to 10 yes or no questions to narrow down what the item might be. Like for example, they can ask if it is black, is it smaller than a pen, or do most people own this item? The person who ends up guessing the correct item wins and becomes the new leader. If the item is not guessed after 10 questions, then the leader wins. Activities for self-improvement. Self-improvement is a way to make yourself better or more knowledgeable. It's a way to challenge yourself in new ways while working on your personal growth. Putting in the effort to grow yourself and in teaching can reap huge benefits for both the students and teachers. So it's important to make time for these types of activities in your schedule. Whether working from home or from the school, most of us strive to never stop acquiring knowledge and learning new skills. To make the most of the personal development process, you should focus on implementing effective strategies that generate fast results. These activities for self-improvement will help you achieve the same. Identify the figure. This is an activity which enables us to understand the impact of our attitude or background on our perception of an event or situation. The given picture is of an unattractive and poor old woman, and at the same time, the image also depicts a wealthy young woman. Which one did you identify first? The image you saw first is determined by your thoughts, opinions, beliefs, and attitudes. Our beliefs and attitudes can cloud our perceptions, and therefore it is very important as a teacher for us to be open and unbiased in our ideologies, especially when we approach kids. This activity can also be used among students to teach them the moral. The download link for the image is given in the description box below. The 9 exercise. The 9 exercise helps you to realize that problems are not too hard to solve, whether it be in your career or in your life. To complete the exercise, you have to make a 6 out of the Roman letter 9 with just one line. The answer is 6. S-I-X 6. Many of you might have found difficulty in finding the solution to this simple problem. This is because of the approach we have toward certain situations. If we put our actual cognitive skills into it, everyone will be able to solve the problem effectively. The activity shows us that our assumptions might hinder us from realizing easier solutions to our problems. One-way communication. One-way communication is an activity for pairs which will help us to realize the mistakes and misunderstandings made when we act according to one-way communication. For this activity, you should find a partner and form a pair. The partner will be then given a picture that you haven't seen at all, and he has to describe it to you. You must sketch the diagram without seeing the original, without asking any questions, but just following your partner's description. Only verbal communication should be used. Once the figure is completed, compare it with the original one. One-way communication is normally difficult to follow. It causes confusions and misunderstandings. The same happens with us when we jump into action without actively participating in the conversation, which is very important as a teacher. Here is an image of the before and after of a one-way communication activity. Some sample images for this activity is also included, and the download links are given below in the description box. Reading exercise. Reading exercise is a simple activity which will help us understand that we see what we want to see, that even the written communication can be misread. This activity can also be done in groups. A paper or card is to be prepared with the phrases given in the boxes: hand in the bird, lifetime in a once, and spring in the Paris. These sheets should be handed over to the group down and ask them to read it only when you or the leader ask them to. When they read the phrases, they should memorize it and then write it on the other side of the paper in reverse order. Majority of the members would have written the phrases exactly as they are without paying attention to the instructions that it should be written in reverse order. This is an example of how we misinterpret things by overlooking very evident facts. The correct phrases in reverse order should have been bird in the hand, once in a lifetime, and Paris in the spring. Hand to chin exercise. This is a funny yet insightful activity that gives us the moral that actions speak louder than words. This activity can also be done in a group, which would make it more interesting. To begin the exercise, choose a person to demonstrate. As he demonstrates, ask the group to extend the right arm parallel to the floor and to make a circle with the thumb and forefinger. As the speaker demonstrates, the group must do the same. Now ask the group to bring their arm straight to the chin, while the person demonstrating should bring his or her hand to the cheek instead of the chin. You'll be amazed to find that many in the group would do the same, bringing their arms to their cheeks rather than their chin, imitating the action of the speaker and not his words. Actions will always speak louder than words. So it is important for us as teachers to showcase actions worth imitating, especially in front of our students. I hope these learning games and activities have benefited you in one way or the other. It takes a lot to shape little minds. Thank you for all your efforts and wish you the very best. Thank you.